Hello everyone and welcome to my journey on building a VR physics-based space game from scratch. I'm documenting the entire process from start all the way up to release, and this week's goals are to add a little moon buggy so the player can drive around the planets, add some batteries and some solar panels, a plasma torch, and a quick little spacecraft. A quick reminder of what I got up to last time was I created a variety of large-scale weapons such as the trebuchet, catapults, and cannons. In the time being, I've also created an orbiting mechanic for both the planets and moons, a voxel-based planet with procedural foliage, a simple spaceship, and some guns, which I'll demonstrate in a later devlog also. At the beginning of the week, I laid out each task on a Trello board. The first thing that needs to get done is to 3D model a simple moon buggy. The goal was to keep the model as simple as possible in Blender, as the accessories such as the battery pack, radio antenna, and the steering wheel will be added by the player in-game. This actually allows the player to have the option of installing their choice of accessories to the buggy. I then added a vehicle movement script to the buggy and set its max RPM, and a few other parameters. Once I got the buggy to actually drive around, I just applied my gravity script that determines the nearest gravity point, in which all planets have a gravity point at the middle of them, to the buggy, so the player will be able to transport the buggy to different microplanets. In order to prevent the player from actually driving infinitely around the planets and moons, I also moved on to the next task, which is to create the actual batteries. I began by adding a few variables such as the max capacity, the current capacity, and the output rate for each battery. I then set the batteries to be fully charged and went for a quick drive around the planet. Now, the next step is to add actually some solar panels so you can actually charge the batteries once they're empty. I began by making a few rough sketches in my notebook about the logic that the solar panels should actually have, such as making the solar panels output rate dependent on the amount of sunlight that actually hits it, similar to the solar panels in the real world. I decided to start off by making the output rate of the solar panel be influenced by its angle to the sun. I did this by simply getting the dot product of the solar panel to the sun and then multiplying this by the output rate of the solar panel. Then all we need to do is divide the planet into two different sections, both day and night, and then disable the solar panel from charging during the night. Now without this feature, the solar panel could still charge during the night if it is technically facing towards the sun. In a later devlog, we'll dive into calculating the exact time of day based on the solar panel's position on the planet relative to the planet's day and night cycle, but more on that later. As of now, the player can safely drive around the planet and then recharge during the day. Now it's time to add some plasma torches. I began by creating a new actor that derives from my gravity script and add an oxygen tank as a placeholder model. I then added a flame, which will cut away the surfaces that it touches. I ran a few tests and added a simple button to toggle the torch on and off. The idea for the plasma torch is to either cut away at an enemy spacecraft's armor or be used as a mining tool for melting the iron out of the rocks on their planet. Either way, it's time to start working on the basic spaceship. So in order to give the player the total control over the vehicle, I need to add a throttle, a lever that moves the ship both up and down, and finally a flight stick. I did this in order to give the player 6 degrees of freedom when controlling their spacecraft. Also, I added a few buttons to raise and lower both the landing gear and the cargo bay, and for safety measures, a landing camera. After a few days of programming and tweaking the flight settings, I ended up with a spacecraft that can travel between multiple planets and moons. My next mission is to add some space stations so you can dock and refuel to reach some further planets. Now if you want to get an inside look into the production of the game, I truly recommend you join the Discord server. I really appreciate everybody who has joined and all the support and feedback, and I honestly can't thank you guys enough. We'll also be posting new devlog videos every single Friday, so for more frequent updates, we've also got a Patreon server and a Discord server as I mentioned before. Now if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It helps a lot. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe. Also, we've got some other devlogs which are worth checking out if you haven't already, and until the next one guys, cheers.